That's the theory.
Oh, it's always far enough away and another way.
Yeah. Probably optional. I'm going to keep one eye because I'll be on Zoom. Yeah. Where's the camera? You can take one of those with me. Yeah.
I'll just turn around.
There's some.
Tom Pearson gonna come here or Zoom?
I don't know if that's what I want to read.
You done with one of those, Heidi?
Pardon me?
Are you done with one of those?
No, 2 seconds though.
Oh.
Wow. Paul has.
Well, I'm getting this one. I don't have to do those.
Right, exactly. I'm almost done.
Louis Lewis is,
Thank you.
Yeah, Louis Lewis. There you go.
Louis Lewis.
Louis.
I don't know if I should.
Is that Louis Lewis with the list?
That's where the camera's there. So does the camera get everybody in the room? What?
It's not a multi-camera shoot.
I don't know if I'm on.
It could.
Pain in the neck.
Good form. Gary, there's someone that we don't know on Zoom. We could ask them to introduce themselves. Yeah. Can't take attendance,
Hello, Louis Lewis. Would you identify yourself, please?
Are we on camera yet? Gary, are we live yet?
Yes. You
Yeah,
still? Does that affect your lighting? No. I just unmuted you guys. Would you, Danielle and Scott, would you say something? I want to test the audio.
Your hair looks very charming.
You are very handsome.
Shucks. Thank
I
you.
like the part to the side like that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you. That's, you're turning my head.
Wait, okay.
Oh, there's Thomas. Something.
Do all those need a third?
These are all done.
Oh. Matt, you look at that.
No.
Sign.
No, I'll say, I can all mine. Thank you.
Is that here in the middle? It's a white check.
I believe it's Tina.
Oh, yes, that's it.
All right, 7 o'clock, start kids. This meeting will be July 15th, Village Board of Trustees. Stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alrighty. Public comment, going to have a 1-minute limit with initially, and then the second session, towards the end of the meeting, we won't have a time cap on. So anybody wishing to address the board? Scott?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry I didn't look at the agenda again, but is the baseball on the agenda or the soccer fields at all?
No, I have not heard back from Bodkin yet.
Okay, very good. I actually have, I reached out to somebody else who's interested, so I just want to, he plays in a men's league, and he contacted me last year because we had that contract that was supposed to be out, the guy, I never got back to him. But he runs a men's league, and they play once a week, and they practice on Sundays. So that might be something, if we don't get the soccer, that we might want to reach out to him. Ready to play. They are part of the National Senior Men's Baseball League, and they do apply to all, comply to all the rules as far as COVID and everything. So I did talk to them about that.
Okay.
So just want to let you know that.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? All righty. Superintendent met with John today. We planned a couple projects, primarily the drainage project in South Park. That will be starting fairly soon. And he's getting in touch with the person who's supposed to do the paving as well as fix the water line. So we're trying to get moving on that project as well.
Okay.
Paving, Cooper 8. And treasurer, we have no resolution, so Jess is here. Do you want to say something, Jess? Okay. But there are no resolutions from the treasurer tonight. Animal control officer is not here.
This is Jesse, not Jessica.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I didn't think she was going to be here. Corliss, chief. Nope. Mr. Sheridan, code enforcement officer. There we go.
Okay, a letter went out to Emador to move the food station way to here from Emador about moving that up to Victoria Landing. The planning board had to revote on the re-subdivision of lots 41, 49, and it was sent to the county, and everything seems to be okay now. 21, 25, Route 9. which is the 17 acres right next to the mill, is sold. Seems it was bought by a retired wetland biologist. A letter went out to 21 James to remove the container, and so far this year we've had 21 CFCs and C of Os, actually 6 C of Os so far this year. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Auditorium and AP3.
Hi. I sent around a report to the board for AP3's last meeting that discussed us working on the condition of the floor before seats go in. And in that report, I said initially we spoke to Mark Feller to get a better understanding of the project and called one of the people who made the proposal. We're confused by the proposal to inject material into the slabs to level them, because while there are some slabs on the outer sections that are really badly out of alignment, the floor itself is really not that bad. So we weren't really understanding how injection was going to address leveling the floor with the seams and those. So since then, Chris spoke to Lauren Lenegren at Bikini Construction. He's the fellow who had submitted a single bid for $5,000 to do kind of a test run on the grouting issue. Basically, it sounds like there's two approaches to this. One is the grouting, which would involve lifting slabs and placing grout beneath to re-level them, and that was what Mark Taylor was advocating. Another approach would be grinding, which would be smoothing down the floor, and the grinding might include an element of grinding as well. So Chris spoke to Mark Taylor, but before we had really taken a look at the floor and understood that it really isn't that bad, but he seems to still really think that that's a good approach. So we don't really understand that. Chris did speak to, and one thing I wanted to note is that we saw one of the posts, the supporting posts on the right side, if you're facing the rear of the auditorium near the back, seems to be sinking below the slab, and it looks like there could even be some sagging all the way up to the roof as a result of that, so we're concerned about that as well. Chris spoke to this fellow, Lauren, and he said that he had been expecting to hear from us with questions about the project, because he also didn't really think that lifting the slabs and injecting beneath was the best approach. He had taken a really close look at it and gave Chris a drawing of the slabs that showed the differential between them, which really, I think the greatest was like only an inch or a half an inch, not the giant 3 or 4 or 5 inches that are on the sides. He continues to believe that the differences between these slabs could just be ground down and the surface could be made more even that way. He had some suggestions for a finish once that was done with a epoxy-like coating. So he's going to be providing us with estimates for the grinding of the middle section, addressing the side section, and the coating. So 3 different components. And finally, Chris talked to Lauren about how to address the post that seems to be settling. Lauren said he wouldn't be able to address this project without an engineer looking at it and making a recommendation. And he suggested an engineer in Clifton Park with whom he's worked on this type of project. So I guess what we're asking the board at this point is, are you okay with our progress so far and maybe continue? And secondly, we wonder if we can consult directly with the engineer recommended by Lauren and Bikini Construction to address the post issue, or do we need to go through Lamont? And the reason we aren't really keen on going through Lamont is because it would probably just incur an additional fee. I don't think Lamont could actually do the work. They'd probably offer to do the specifications for putting it out to bid. And we just want to get a quick look at it first and then decide what else needs to be done in terms of retaining an engineer. So I'd like your opinion on that. So that all has to do with the floor. The second issue of the auditorium is we're noticing more and more panes of stained glass are cracked and broken or missing from the apps area around the organ. It seems like they're really coming off pretty frequently. I noticed somebody had put some on the bench outside the door. AP3 is proposing that we obtain and cut some green and orange glass to replace the panes. And those that are left in there need to be better secured. So we didn't know if actually installing them and shoring up the glazing is something the village could do, or is that something we should be looking into? That's the second issue. Thirdly, with respect to the auditorium, I said I was going to meet with Conway. I actually did on Monday to find out about getting the benches built that for which we obtained a grant from Global Foundries, $3,000 for this purpose. I showed him the two different end caps that came off the seats and said we'd really like to incorporate those in the design if that's possible. And he seemed to think that was an exciting idea. He took one of each design back to the studio. He's going to propose some design, of course, to be presented to the board for you to sign off on. That's all for the auditorium. With respect to the kiosks, I sent a message to Peter Belmonte about what they would like to see done at the Ridge, and I haven't heard back. And thirdly, there's interest in a walking tour. So we're getting a little group together to sort of lay that out and maybe eventually getting interpretive signs and photos of certain sites and possibly an audio app to walk through that. And since Matt Miller was interested in the sign project, we think this might mesh well with that. So that's the report for AP3 this month. And Dan, did I leave anything out?
No, there's a lot there. So a couple different things. I think the easiest one, the shortest one to say is the post. Can we make?
Somebody's going to have to interpret this for me. I can't hear it at all.
Can you hear if I do this?
No, it's very echoey.
Okay. So
Over here and speak into this.
Sorry.
That's okay, we're trying to figure this out as we go.
it's a whole new world. So it seemed from that list that the shortest one was the post, that they were suggesting we get somebody in Clifton Park who may be able to deal with this kind of project to take a look at it, maybe give an estimate of what to do and what it would cost. Can we authorize them to do that? And do we need a resolution?
Is there a cost involved?
No, probably not for an estimate. Thank you.
Thanks for hearing, so you're talking about leveling now, or are you talking about?
Talking about just the post, they said there's a post in the back,
Right.
seems to be sinking, that the vendor knew someone, a firm in Clifton Park that might be able to deal with this kind of thing, and should AP3 contact them to get an estimate and see if they can, is that okay?
Yeah.
Do we need
Yeah.
a resolution?
An estimate is, okay.
All right, an estimate, we don't need a resolution for it, just say, can you get an estimate? Okay, is that enough, Lydia?
I didn't hear, but as long as I got permission, I'm okay.
Hello, everyone. So what we're saying is, yes, we don't need to do a resolution, just go ahead and contact the firm, find out who they are, let them, take a look at it, understand the scope of the project and what it might cost.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very
So
much.
that's one thing. Then, as far as the floor, which is obviously complicated, and that's why it hasn't happened to date, so it's nice that they can start pulling this apart. Are you just letting us know right now, or do you want some sort of action on that because it's still kind of up in the air?
Well, I think I would like you to agree that investigating further the grinding rather than the filling is okay. We're just getting a quote from the single person at this point, he's the one who already provided the amount of $5,000 just to investigate the option of grouting, which we don't really understand why that would be a good way to proceed. we'd like the quote from him on the grinding approach to the whole thing.
So you guys want to get a quote on the grinding option?
Right.
And then Mark Thaler had sent an email to you saying he was on vacation, but he was going to address some other issues like the master plan, and maybe we could also find out why he felt strongly about that.
At the August meeting.
Right, at the August meeting. He's going to be at this August meeting, or we're having an August meeting.
At our next board meeting, he said he could present.
Okay. It sounded like he was going to present, that Mark Thaler, Lydia was planning to present at the August meeting.
That was part of his agreement with the contract for the master plan, was he would present his entire plan.
Right,
And we could ask him about the approach at that time.
okay.
I suspect he's just, being very thorough and wanting to know exactly what's under that floor. I'm just not sure we have the luxury of satisfying our curiosity when the bulk of this floor has actually been sitting there with very little heating for 60, 70 years.
Dan, do you have any different understanding of that?
No, I really don't have any comment on the floor. I really wasn't involved with the contractors directly that Chris and Lydia were working with, so it looks like there's a couple of differences of opinion, but it just needs to be sorted out as to what the best direction is to go in at this time.
All right, I just remember something about, there was a discussion about some wiring going under the floor, but I don't know if we ever.
Oh, yes, I can speak on that part. So there was the new audio system, house mix position is located in the middle of the center section, and currently, last year, we were running wires across the aisle, which is never a good idea. Even with taping and stuff like that, if we're doing a real installation, it should be buried in the concrete in a conduit across the aisle or under the aisle. So I had made a recommendation to.
We lost you. Dan, I'm not hearing you. Still seeing them, but not hearing them.
Show is muted.
Oh, yeah.
Your internet connection is unstable.
There we go, we're back.
We're back live.
Dan?
Yes.
All right, so we lost you there at the end.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes, so you were putting a conduit, you were talking about putting
Yeah.
wiring.
So the recommendation is to put a conduit under the concrete between the center section and then the posts where the electric and the Ethernet comes down from the ceiling, so that we don't have to run wires across the floor anymore.
So once we decide on an approach for the floor, we'll include that as part of the work.
All right, let's
That
just,
would be great, yeah. That's it.
we don't want to glue the floor all down and then try and put in the wires. So, okay, so the other issue, I think, was the stained glass.
Yeah.
Anybody want to weigh in on?
She had asked if that's something that the village can do. I don't know if that's something that's within our.
I think Jack Castle has been replacing the last everywhere, so he might be asking.
Jack Castle has been replacing.
I heard you, but I don't know.
I think we could ask him if that's within his expertise.
We can investigate that.
So will we do that? Will we contact him? Lydia, you hear that one?
Nope.
A gentleman named Jack Castle in the village has, oh, he's on the crew? Has replaced some over time, some of the stained glass, and we will look into that and see if that's something he feels he can do. You know,
Okay, it looks like a lot of the more recent glass has been clear, so I don't know. That's,
yeah, not design-wise, just if that's something he could do as far as repair work, and then we could talk about what it actually means, because it's true, we're getting clear glass in there now as opposed to
Yeah.
We should get to.
If they can get the same, purely stained glass.
exact same if that's something that the village crew or people we know could do, but they will not do it, we will talk about the design after. Is that okay?
That sounds perfect, thank you.
Any other parts of
No,
that?
I think that's good.
Your old business. Oh, I'm sorry, okay, Adrian?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So following up on our last meeting, Dan and David and John Fuller and Madeline and who else was there? Anyway, we met, we did audio testing. Dan can speak to that in more detail, but tomorrow we are, and that was successful, right? And then tomorrow we're going into the space again to figure out the Wi-Fi and the signal strength. And I think one of the things that we talked about was focusing on whatever programming that we might do for the rest of the year and just have that be just Oregon focused. Because there's, everything is still so much up in the air. We don't have a clear plan for that yet until I think, we kind of get through the next time technologically. So Dan, if you want to talk about that, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. So as Adrian mentioned, we did part one last week. Did some audio testing just to see how everything would sound, being basically from the organ, which is a live breathing instrument, into a laptop, effectively. And so the nice thing is with some of our new equipment that we have from the state grant, we're able to do a direct connection from the audio system into a laptop digitally. So that seemed to work out great. David Straight's been really helpful with on that side of it. And then the internet had not been activated yet from Spectrum, so we weren't able to do we attempted to, but weren't able to do a bandwidth test and all that kind of stuff. So tomorrow we're going to do video and network testing. David's proposed some solutions for video, which are, if they work, pretty good on the cost side. I think we wouldn't have very much cost at all on that end of it to make this happen. So we'll be in there tomorrow, and then hopefully by the next meeting we'll have a full report. But right now we're in the midst of it and proceeding tomorrow. So.
Can you ask the group whether they think we should tune the organ if they're going to have organ series? Is that an issue?
What's your thinking on tuning the organ?
I believe it should be done. I know there is, in terms of the value, with the cost of having that done, I know we have Tom Dressler would be interested in playing a recital if we do this virtually stream meeting. I believe John Fuller would as well, so there's at least two organists that would perform, potentially three. We might ask Fred Williams from West Point if he's available. But I think John, I'm not an organist, but John Fuller had mentioned that it would be a good idea to have that tuned, should be tuned for a good recital.
I think that even if it's not actually tuned, we might think about having Andover come and look at it, make sure it survived the winter okay, and we don't want to go backwards in terms of maintenance.
John Fuller to go examine it, and nothing had happened to it, but he did recommend it to me as well.
John Fuller took a look at it and said it basically survived the winter.
But he thinks he also thinks it should be too.
If we're gonna have a series, if we're gonna have an organ series, then yes, definitely. But I didn't know that until now, so.
Well, but if we don't use it, is it still a good idea to have it tuned, yearly?
No, Matthew Andover said he wasn't doing much stuff, so if we, we were gonna be having performances, he would come.
I didn't hear that.
Okay, would
You
raise
repeat
it
that,
over while
please?
you're talking?
So I've been speaking with Matthew at Andover, Oregon, and he suggested that John Fuller check the organ out. It seemed to be in good shape. Over the winter, nothing broken on it. And Matthew said that if we're going to have an organ concert series, he would come and tune it. So we were just waiting to see if you had something planned, and then I can schedule it.
So I think, we have to take the next step. But to Lydia's point, even if there are 1 or 2 or 3 things that we could schedule, is it worth making the investment just to have them because they're like the professionals that do that and not, underscoring John's comment, but just to have them come and look. I'm just throwing that out there.
If Matt from Andover told John what to look for, I'm okay with that.
All right, I'll have a conversation with Matthew and see if he thinks he can come out. He wasn't doing a lot of tunings in the area. I think he'd have to make a special trip. But let me just be in touch with him and see what he's got on his schedule.
Maybe wait until we know for sure if we're going to have a performance, and then we can schedule tuning as well.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll know that pretty soon, probably.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That would be my suggestion.
Sounds good.
All right, next item is setting a public hearing for the local law allowing chickens in the village. It is resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Round Lake will hold a public hearing to consider amendment to sections in the village code regarding the raising of chickens on Wednesday, August 19, 2020 at 6:45 in the community room of the Round Lake Village Hall, 49 Burlington Ave, Round Lake, New York, at which time all persons wishing to be heard will be heard. Members of the public may attend via electronic connection. Information regarding such connection, permitting viewing of and participating in public hearing and meetings will be posted to the village website and email. It is further resolved that the Board of Trustees designates itself as a lead agency with respect to the application of the State Environmental Quality Review Act with respect to this proposed amendment. It is further resolved that the clerk is directed to publish notice of the public hearing. It is further resolved that a copy of the proposed legislation be immediately posted on the village website. Second?
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, I couldn't hear what time or what day you were saying.
6:45?
Is that sufficient? And it doesn't have to run over, right? We don't have to start the meeting on it.
Vote. Tom?
Yes.
Heidi? Yes. Paul?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, excuse me. Next is the auditorium contract renewal for Dan Testa. Which you have in front of you. And the motion authorizing me to sign this.
I'll make that motion. Usually, we get them pretty cheap. I hate to say that publicly, but
Amen.
yeah, I'll make the motion.
Second.
Discussion?
Vote. Tom?
Thank you, Dan.
Yes.
Yeah. Dan, right? We over there?
Very much
Yes,
there.
that's for the website.
Yeah, I know.
Heidi, vote. Yes. Paul?
Yes.
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
And
Alrighty, next, a version, I believe you have in front of you.
It's Black Lives Matter, PLN.
Andrew, please do not interrupt the session. You will have the session. You will have time to make comments at the end. The latest resolution does not have that name. Have you all read it? The resolution in support of Black Lives in this time of crisis. Do you want it read or just starting? A motion?
I would like to read it.
You want to sit here?
Sure. So, hello everybody. This was the latest, pretty much exactly the same as what was published earlier today, with just a couple of minor edits, so I just wanted to read it. Whereas in this moment in time, we must acknowledge that Black lives are in crisis, and all of us as human beings continue to mourn every Black life lost to police misconduct and racial injustice. And whereas we cannot ignore injustices that have unfairly targeted people of color, thus we must stand against and dismantle systemic oppression in American society. And whereas the recent outpouring of concern and frequent local demonstrations have illustrated the depth of the concern in our area, and whereas the Round Lake Village Board of Trustees painfully acknowledges that America is a nation deeply rooted in racism, and that conscious and unconscious bias of white privilege does pervade our culture today, and such we will never be free from our history unless we're honest and talk openly about it. And whereas the Round Lake Village Board of Trustees understands and respects the righteous indignation of peaceful protesters to defend democracy and supports their constitutional right for all to demonstrate, and acknowledges that society demands fair and expeditious due process. And whereas the Round Lake Village Board of Trustees supports Governor Cuomo's urgent and immediate action to eliminate racial inequities in policing, to modify and modernize policing strategies, policies, procedures, and practices, and to develop practices to better address the particular needs of communities of color, to promote public safety, improve community engagement, and foster trust, and ensure that all of its citizens are treated equally, fairly, and justly before the law. And whereas the Round Lake Village Board of Trustees supports Governor Cuomo's decision in observing Juneteenth to honor the history, perseverance, and achievements of African Americans, and celebrate America's progress and continuing commitment to realize the principles of liberty and equality upon which our nation was founded. And whereas it is fitting that all New Yorkers join to commemorate such an important day in our nation's history, as we take this opportunity to reflect upon and rejoice in the freedom and civil rights that we all share as Americans. And therefore be it resolved that the Round Lake Village Board of Trustees commits to working with local law enforcement to support their efforts and respect their hard work, and to also work with state and local government to work to eradicate racial inequity, inequality, and to request prompt action to eliminate the harm that it causes. And be it further resolved that the Round Lake Village Clerk transmit a copy of this resolution to Assemblywoman Carrie Warner, State Senator Jim Tedisco, Congressman Paul Tonko, Senators Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand, and Governor Andrew Cuomo. So that was the resolution, and I think it's an important moment in our time to acknowledge this, and I would like to go ahead and move to resolve this resolution.
Thank you. I would just like to say that I could have written the same resolution 50 years ago, and I'm not willing to wait another month. So I heartily second this motion. Discussion?
I don't know, I don't know who can hear me. No, I don't really need to do that, but just a note that in the order of importance at the bottom, it should switch that around to U.S. Senators first, Congressman, and then Senate and Assembly. Because there's a...
Say it again, we have it in order right now.
Reverse it.
The whole thing starting with Como, you mean?
No, just,
Which ones did you want to reverse? Because what are
you put the US senators first,
Yeah,
the congressman second,
yeah, sure.
the assembly person and the state senators.
Since those we reverse then too. You go from Senate,
Senate first, yeah.
yeah, yeah, and then governor at the end?
Governor would fall, I would think, because I don't know what the order on that is, but I would pick Cuomo first, because we're acknowledging.
Well, then you're saying we would just reverse the entire order, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, I don't want to mess around 15 minutes.
No, I know, but just we had an issue where we reversed 2B for a reason. I have no problem with reversing the entire thing, it's reversed, we go from one end to the other.
Sounds good.
Doesn't matter to me.
The only other thing I'll mention, and I don't have, we ran around like chickens with our heads, putting this together in a couple of days. We gotta just get the process so we have a little time. It worked out well, but we really should, we shouldn't be waiting till Sunday.
Well, I don't think it worked out well for me. I did not have a chance to look at the edits. I don't know that I would have some things that I'd like to change that I would feel better about or heartily endorsing. While the overall theme of this I do agree with, I think it needs a little massaging, a little editing, and a little reflection. I think I did not have any idea that this was in the offing before I received it on Sunday. And I am, asked to sign this and say that I'm speaking for the village. The village has had a couple of days, if they had time to look at their email or Facebook. And I just think that this is a statement of support and not an emergency. And 3 days is 2 to 3 days is not enough time. If it's that important and we feel strongly about, to consider it. I really do.
I think that the sentiment behind it is correct. I think that, we can go ahead and probably edit a word here and there until we're completely 100% happy with every single word. But I think that, in my own personal opinion, I think that the way it's written is powerful and it's what we want to say. And I also think that time is somewhat of the essence here. We're in a moment in our history where things are changing by the hour, by the day, and I think it's important that we make a statement of support. I think Round Lake has always strived to be an inclusive community, and there's people that are hurting out there, and I think that this resolution, while it's not going to solve anything overnight, and it's not going to absolve anybody of anything, I think it will go some way to hopefully having a conversation and opening lines of dialogue between the village and those people that may feel marginalized within the village. So I fully support it.
First, an extremely minor note, but I think it should be just shared in the fourth paragraph, whereas Round Lake Village Board of Trustees painfully acknowledges. The third line it says, white privilege does pervade our culture today, and such we will never be free. Do we mean and as such we will never be free? It reads like there's a word missing there. Does anyone else see that?
There are a couple of things in there that I've changed that are
Why did you want to-
minor edits. I mean, I don't want to, do you really want to go through this?
I'll talk about that next. I just wanted to address this one thing first. If that's wrong, I'd like to correct that, because I know then I was going to discuss that other issue in a second. But I've gone through it. I've made a few suggestions, minor grammatical. I also would state that I support this. I think it's good for us to do, but I do acknowledge Heidi's concern. For me, I feel like I personally would probably be willing to go ahead this evening. I do think we got some good response from some people already. We know. I don't think that will change much in the next month. However, I also feel it's real important. It would be really ideal if we went forward unanimously on this, if that's at all possible. So therefore, I would like to make sure everyone feels comfortable doing it. So I personally would be ready to go forward tonight, but I share Heidi's concern that we got it, basically a couple of days before we're being asked to vote on it. And that's happened a few times recently, partly because of the situation. I'm not blaming anyone, I'm just saying that, when that happens, I know Heidi, I don't want to speak for you, but I know you were in a particular work situation where you really had no time to look at it. I'm fortunate I was home, so I had time, and I have spoken to others, and so I think we should just talk about that a little more, whether we were going forward tonight or presenting it and voting on it next month. I would really like us to be united and present united front, so it doesn't end up like resolutions happen elsewhere where, for various reasons, some of the thing was turned down and rents were partly because not everyone liked the way it was worded. I don't have problems with the current wording, but maybe others do, so I don't know if you do, Tom, or not.
Well, I didn't like the first version of this. I thought it was very heavy-handed. I thought there was some language in there that could offend a couple of people, depending on your view. I noticed that, and I admit, I spoke to the author, as others did, and we did some edits, and we tried to, make this as agreeable to everyone as possible. Would I change a couple of things here? Yes. But I'm not going to get everything I want. So, I understand that. But it's agreeable. I wish we had a little bit more time for more input from people. And that, I don't share Matt and Gary's view that we absolutely need to do this, but I certainly will support it. If we wait until August, it would, to me, it doesn't matter that much, but this is a document I certainly support.
Yeah, you can go over the responses that we got from the village in the few days that it's put out there. It's not necessarily the number, just the numbers of people, just so that the...
Yeah. We have received 431 emails were sent out. We have received 35 positive emails, 4 negative emails. And if you pay attention to Facebook likes or positive comments, 32 other separate people liked or commented, and 1 person had a negative comment or dislike.
Gary, on comments in general, and I think this goes to some of our concerns, all of us that we go up talk about this since this COVID thing. We don't get a lot of people involved. The public doesn't, seem to get as involved as they once did. Is there a way for anybody to see what everybody, I know everybody can see it on Facebook, but if you got mailed, for example, an email with some comments about it, would people have access to all that stuff?
Who's people?
Well, anybody. If I wanted to look and see
Oh, I could.
what the
It's clunky. I would have to forward.
Oh, I see.
I don't know. And
Yeah,
Paul and I were talking about this.
Nor did.
I would have to forward every individual one. And
Yeah.
I get complaints that I sent too many emails already.
Right.
So I can certainly do that.
Right, but do people know that when they send you an email, that it's going to go to the entire village? I mean, that has to be.
Oh, I understand.
parameters.
Well, you could redact the names.
No, I didn't say, but, I mean, if you recall what we did on other surveys, I pass out all the comments without their names attached.
Yeah.
How do you
chicken
paste it?
survey.
Yeah.
Well, no, because that's in a spreadsheet, that's easy. That's why I like the Google Forms. It automatically puts it in.
Because, somebody might have some comment, kind of made some comment that I never thought of, or it's very important, or on either side of the issue. And I just didn't know if there was a way. I know everybody can see everything on Facebook, so that's...
Yeah, well, the positive one would basically, generally, I support, and, well, yeah, I don't understand why somebody wouldn't vote for that kind of thing. And the negatives were basically not understanding what systemic oppression meetings.
Yes.
And so I responded to those with, not trying to be a wise guy, but I gave him a reading list of, I certainly over email can, explain the lifetime worth of learning, so I gave them a list of books that had been recommended to me.
I would note that in the time it's been up on a couple of different Facebook sites, I don't think it's been a hugely controversial issue, in my opinion. The negatives, there was one, I wouldn't even call it negative, there's one thread that Gary spoke with, that I thought was well stated, where someone was concerned that it doesn't really do anything, we're just saying something, not doing anything, and you were pointing out that that's sort of what a resolution is.
Right,
And there are things that can be done as another step, that's not what this is, and I think the person was positive in their response to
I created a new category for her. That was a question mark.
I think there's one or two people I know of who I think no matter what we do would remain negative on it. I do think the changes that may seem small are important.
Yeah.
I like the statements of working with local law enforcement, state, local government, well, to me, said in a positive way. So as I start out by saying I would be willing to go forward because I don't think we're going to change much in the next month, but I don't want to, I'd like to be as united as possible. If we can go forward tonight, I don't think it's the end of the world if it was done at the next meeting, but
I think that the timing is important, and I know there may be some disagreement with that, but I think that the moment is important, and honestly, I wish we had done this a month ago. And I do understand it.
3 months ago, had you been.
well, I do think if a month ago or even 3 weeks and 6 days ago, this were presented, we would not even discuss it tonight.
Ideally, yes.
You would share it.
Yes, ideally, yes. And
I think the complaints on the board that I've heard from some board members, and myself included at times, is not to do with the substance, or that there's not it should be done now, we shouldn't do it next month, it's more, was presented in a timely manner, just so that people here could review it nicely, and I think we did a lot of work in 2 days, but I know at least one of us hasn't been available to participate in that.
I stated my position on how I felt about it and some of my basic concerns, but to sit and edit it, no, and or give my suggestions. I have spent many times over the last years as a board member in rewriting policy and resolutions, and I've been very active in that kind of thing. There was no time to do this, it was not given any time, and I feel strongly about that. I don't, and that's me. You want me to put my name to this, because I agree too, it would be far more effective if all 5 of us agree. You want me to put my name onto it, and I would like to make some changes, and I also would like to hear, what our residents think, because this isn't just a statement about what we think, this is a statement about how the village feels. If we were going to make a statement about how we feel, we can do that individually, but as trustees, we are representing the village, and I think that it's important that we get their input, and that we all get to consider it an adequate amount of time.
I agree that we represent the village, and I do think we've had substantial input. And I also think that we were elected, people know that we are what we stand for. For example, I drive around with a Bernie sticker on my car, and I have for 5 years. People know what they're getting when they vote for me. This is what I stand for. It's a representative democracy. If you don't want me to represent you, don't vote for me if I run in November. I'm willing to put my job on the line for them. We are elected to lead. That's, I can point out. I feel very strongly about that.
I do too, but I also feel that we have to consider the stuff that we put our names to, and not, even when we are impassioned, to just throw everything to the wind and say, we've got to get this through. This is not an emergency, this is a statement of support. And I have no problem working on it with anyone who would like to, do that. I've done it in the past as individually and as a group. I am willing to help with that, but I really do not like being given things in a couple days and said, here, sign it. That feels very very much a command, and I don't feel good about that.
Well, we always have the option to abstain on something.
Option to what?
An option to abstain on a vote. I mean, I understand what you're saying. There is a sense of urgency to it, to me.
If anything, we usually take too long to decide things as a board,
Shall we
so.
take a look at the comprehensive plan? How many years was that? Were we
So,
editing that? I don't want to,
I get where you're coming from, I
don't
really
want
understand it, but I
the
just also feel
perfect to be
there's.
the enemy of the good. It's not as good as it could be, I'm sure. I personally would like to get on with it.
I feel very positively about the basic sentiment behind it. I feel very strongly, actually, about it. And I find it almost absurd that I would be in a position of saying that I would vote against it, but I don't feel comfortable doing this without contemplating it and discussing it with the board and our residents.
Again, it's either yes, no, or abstain.
Well, I feel we all ought to be together on this, or, I mean, a 3-2 or a 4-1, to me, because of the process, not because of the message. I think we should, if we can't be 5-0, maybe we ought to think about delaying this for a month so we can make it 5-0. And if the discussion and the argument is over the process and not the message, we got a problem as a board. The message is clear, and I think everybody supports it. But if we can't operate in a way that we can get agreement on something like this, maybe we should be considered not the message, but how we're dealing with this. And I don't know.
I think if you want to make a motion to table it, you can do that, I mean, and
How does that work? You said,
You can move the table.
I didn't do
Well, there's a motion on the
There's a
floor.
motion on the floor.
that. Well, just to speak to that, just, in advance before we call a vote or something, as I mentioned, I don't have problems with the wording. The changes to me are excellent, and I would be willing to vote yes tonight. However, because of procedural reasons, I wouldn't be willing to be the third person in the 3-2 vote for procedural reasons. And if that looks like that's the case, I would probably have to abstain and wait for next month with the full understanding that I support this and I want it to go through as soon as possible. But so that's just sort of where I stand. I'm ready to say yes, but I got 2 more senior members who should. I'm willing to listen to what they're saying too.
leave the meeting open, so you can do that, right?
That's a question for Tom. The comment was, if we table it, hold an emergency meeting in a week, is that enough time?
Yes, for is that doable?
You're
Yeah, a Zoom meeting is
You having a talk Peterson?
It's not on it.
No, my question, you mentioned hold the meeting open.
Yeah.
I think that's planning and zoning. I don't think it's us. No, that question was for the board.
Yeah, I would like that. I am truly unavailable Monday through Thursday between, 7:30 a.m. and 6 p.m. So to work on this with someone, I would need to do it on a Friday or Saturday or Sunday.
We have one volunteer.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with the way
I
it is.
certainly would be happy to look
people have an idea that this is the general gist of it and would like to finesse it a little bit, and there would be another, iteration coming up, another edition coming up.
A couple months ago, I think at the comprehensive plan, when we adopted it, the public hearing, we had somebody in the audience say, how come I haven't seen this? That was after 4 years of constant barrages of emails, and so, I mean, and this was
I know we're not going to make everybody happy.
I was shocked.
I know we're not going to make everybody happy, but we also just can't decide stuff on our own. The point is that we are working for and with the village, and yes, we're not going to make everybody happy, and everybody's not going to see it and be able to weigh in, but 3 days is 2.5 days is not a lot.
Could we say that whoever's going to work on, as I say, I'm fine with this, who's ever going to work on another version of this, put something together, we put it out again, and we say the village board plans to adopt this resolution on such and such a day, and then within a week or so. And that way, everybody, there'll be no excuse if you don't want to weigh in. And I think that would satisfy Heidi's concerns.
So the time frame would be working on it this weekend?
Friday afternoon or Saturday.
Sometime next work week, depending on her schedule, if you can be the following, week after that. I'm fine with any date, but I kind of like this idea. I don't know whether technically you do leave a meeting open or you do a special meeting, but if we make it clear that we're going to be moving forward with this, or we're expectations we're moving forward with this on a certain date, and we will have some revisions upcoming by the weekend or whatever we want to say. I don't mind then if there's only a few days for the public to respond to that, because they have a notice literally by, let's say, tomorrow that they should look at this now if they want to, and they can see the revisions at the end of the week, and then at whatever date is decided now, we would vote on it. I don't think we have to have weeks go by after the revisions are made. It could just be a few days, that's a couple days, that's all right. But I like this idea. I think we have a chance to move 5-0 rather quickly, and I think we should seize that opportunity.
Who made that
Some of
suggestion?
our friends in some other places.
Who made that suggestion?
Now what?
It was you?
I think you need 48 hours to call an emergency meeting, I think.
I missed what you said.
I was just asking who made that suggestion. It was
Oh.
a good suggestion.
I'm okay with that, because I think we're not leaving it another month, if we act within a week. I think if we're not leaving it another month, if we're acting within, say, a week, I would be okay with that. I do, but it's,
I hear your points. I said,
Yeah.
I think everyone agrees it's more of a procedural thing, and
Yeah.
it's unfortunate that it came so close to the meeting.
yeah, I think the thing to understand is, this is not an attempt to bamboozle anybody or slide anything in, or, it's just the way that things happen organically sometimes, and, they sometimes occur a month before the meeting starts, and sometimes they, start going 3 days before the meeting starts.
But I think we ought to also make an effort to give people time to respond. We went through this as a board last month, saying, can we present things that need our reflection and opinion, and need us to write something down about it? Can we present it, in a timely fashion so that we can have a weekend or something to include it in this, not just be expected to respond in a couple of days, and particularly a couple of work days, because people have, I'm not the only one with a busy schedule, we all do, we all have them, but, we need to think about when these things go out, maybe pull them together, say, you did, once you were suggesting maybe put a few of them together on a Wednesday or a Thursday and say, can you have your responses by next Monday or something? But not just firing things individually, and it needs to be figured out now, and you need to respond now, because it's not just an emotional reaction. We have things that we have to write down and think out. I'm obviously this is a big issue for me.
So what's the next step?
So we've got a motion on the floor to,
I will withdraw the motion.
I made the motion.
You made the motion, sorry.
I'll withdraw the motion.
So, motion has been withdrawn. So should we think about a meeting, date for the meeting?
Okay, the next Wednesday. We'll give you guys the weekends and
I
then,
can't do next Wednesday, I have
okay,
a run support board.
Thursday.
we need it Thursday? I mean, this will be lickety split.
Gary, can I be heard?
Thomas, yes, you can.
I can't hear anything other than what you are saying. So I'm not exactly sure what's being proposed, but it appears to me the appropriate vehicle will be to continue this meeting,
Yeah.
because I don't believe that a emergency meeting would be justified according to the language of the statute. So I think we either have a special meeting, but in this case, it seems easier and appropriate just to hold this open until whenever the board is ready to act on this resolution.
So do we hold it open and say we'll hold the meeting open until, let's say, Thursday? Is that okay to put a date in that?
You probably can't hear.
Okay.
This is the first time through for me, I'm holding a meeting, village board meeting open. So what would be the procedure for doing that?
Just don't close the meeting and announce the next date and time when the board will be finishing the meeting.
Good.
Thank you.
Thursday at 6:30, be okay for you?
So again,
Thursday, 6:30 good for everybody?
Yeah.
Thursday, what
At
time?
6:30 p.m.
6:30?
Yes.
Okay, maybe it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Fine,
What's the
whatever.
date?
23rd sounds a little
It's
big.
23rd.
Thursday, the 23rd at 6:30.
And you will make some kind of public announcement on our site
Oh,
as
yes.
soon as possible. Right?
You're probably right.
It's okay.
I'll be driving through the loudspeaker.
Right. Don't use this, oh yeah, that's right.
Gary, can you just let everybody know that the meeting is recorded and
By the way, if you're having trouble hearing, I'm recording this as well on another camera, and this will be up on the website probably tomorrow. All right, so to this Saturday, probably get something out to the people Monday, maybe,
yeah.
then we'll meet on Thursday. Good. Thank you. Next order of business is independent nominating petitions, as I put in an email to everybody. They're available from the clerk. They are due July 27th. Is that correct? Due July 27th.
Excuse me, is there a window there? Is it the 27th?
27th through the 30th.
To the 30th?
That's what it has to be handed in.
That's it.
You can do it, start collecting.
Right, yeah, but I think you only have till the 17th, right, to get signatures?
No.
I think the first day to turn them in is the 27th of July, and the last day is the 30th.
Well, when's the last day to take signatures?
I don't think there is one.
I don't think we just turn it in.
Oh, okay.
And
And we turn it into the town, it goes to the town.
They would go to
Yeah, yeah.
Cruci. Yeah.
Yeah.
county.
Okay.
And it's just 5 signatures.
Five, yeah.
Of 5 different
A
people.
total of 5 signatures is needed. There's two-year trustee and mayor positions are open. And you only need 5 signatures to play. Okay, next, I'm extending the state of emergency another 30 days. It's required to allow the extension of the water and sewer payments. And correspondence?
We have one letter from Andrew Lou that we wanted to enter into the minutes.
One letter from Andrew Lou that he wanted entered into the minutes, and it will be entered into the minutes. Approval of the minutes.
Move to approve, or so
There's the public hearing and the
Yeah,
minutes.
that makes some sense.
Yeah, I'll move both sides, so I'm not sure whether we're individual.
Second.
Discussion?
Dennis.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Okay. And approval of abstract?
Abstract in the amount of $116,000, $135.10.
Second.
Second.
Tom?
Yes.
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 Matt?
Yes.
Gary?
Yeah. All right, next we move on to public comment. Public may be heard. If you literally raise your hand, I can see it and unmute you. Go ahead, Samantha.
She's still.
Okay, first, no one heard any of this meeting. Can't hear you. Second, I'm really disheartened by the fact that this resolution was not made today. I mean, if you don't like the wording, I'm sorry, but you know what's right is right. And I'm just really let down by a few people. That's it. Hopefully next time, Gary, you can, I really think Zoom meetings would be better. We really couldn't hear you at all.
You can't hear me speaking now?
I can hear you, but everybody else, we couldn't hear.
As I said, the highlights will be at 11. There will be another.
I understand that, but when you
It's a
want to hear what
limitation.
they're actually saying, you can't.
It's the limitations of what we're doing.
Maybe can we get separate microphones? Is that something we can?
Yes, Dan.
I mean, it's not really a public comment when you can't hear everything. Can't comment.
No, we can hear you.
I know you can hear me.
I can't.
I agree with Samantha that Zoom would work better. It's just, I mean, I appreciate that you're recording it, but I don't think any of us want to watch this again. But the Zoom meeting worked pretty well, I thought.
Yeah.
My two.
Can I just speak to them or not?
Come over here.
That's true. No,
It would just be better if all of you were on individual Zoom
yeah.
sessions as well. It would-
100.
Yeah, I was going to say that I know some of us were very eager to have live meetings, but I think myself in particular were hoping we could have live meetings with the public at the meeting. And just coming tonight as it started, I got the sense that if we can't yet have a live meeting with the public, we are better off with the Zoom, because I personally can hear better. I have hearing aids and I have trouble in this setting. And so I would withdraw my idea to do these in person unless we're like in the auditorium we have the public in attendance. And just to speak very quickly to what Samantha said, I don't know if you could hear any of the overall discussion. It was more procedural. There was universal 5-person support for the amendment, and it's being held for a week for procedural reasons that we didn't receive it for a couple of days, and some people didn't even get a chance to read it. I'm just saying, I understand your point. I just want to make sure you had heard that.
I understood that, but I...
Okay, I didn't know if you had even heard that, so that's all. I just want to clarify that.
Thank you, Paul.
So, okay.
Gary, will we be holding the meeting next Thursday at 6:30 on Zoom only?
I think we should.
I think we should do that, and I would.
Yeah, and I think you should also tell people that we were doing this in an effort to be
Yeah.
more.
We were trying to.
We failed.
Yes,
So,
it didn't work, yeah.
Just get a quick poll here. The meeting on the 23rd at 6:30 will be a Zoom meeting, so you can hear all of our words of wisdom. And Tina, you had your hand up.
Where's Tina? She left us.
Oh, she's there.
Yeah.
Mute button, sorry. No, I was just gonna comment on the same thing, that it would be better if you guys were all on individual Zooms as well. I was just supporting what everybody else was saying. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else before we go into executive session?
This is Andrew. I don't
Ryan.
speak. I don't know how to raise my hand.
Ryan, literally, Andrew, you turned the video on and literally raised your hand, but Ryan had his up first. Thank you.
Hi. I just wanted to echo some similar things that Samantha was saying. It really feels like to me, from the limited things I could understand from the conversation that was going on, it didn't feel like it was a resounding affirmation in a lot of these things that were in the document that were being said. So if that was the case, and that we missed that it was just an issue with, it would be great to get clear understanding what the issue is with why it would pass. It's a one-page document, and the amount of time we spent talking about it and looking at it could have very easily been spent reading the document, highlighting any issues we might have had with it, or even spending that time addressing those specific issues so we could reword it and get it to a point where that could be something that we could all talk about. If it was Tommy Rice instead of Tamir Rice, and it was in a Round Lake public space where someone was going down, this wouldn't be something that we would be putting off. We're really having these kind of longer discussions about. There's lots of other ways that it could be passed to sound like a resounding support of the things that are going on in the country right now. And having a living document or a separate way that we can all agree that this is something that we need to address immediately and that is very important as a village. And yes, there might be problems with wording, but it's important that we get it out there and have ways that we can all contribute, that we can all allow things to change and have input, different feedback from people on. But I just feel like if this was a different situation, that we wouldn't be waiting. It's just poignant of the situation at hand that for some reason we're finding it totally okay to not send out some massive resounding support of the movement that's going on right now. And I hope that there's something that can be done, whether it be publicly on other Facebook groups or through things like this. Because we couldn't hear the meeting, I imagine a lot of people are walking away from it kind of being blown away as to why it's so difficult for us to agree that this is important right now. And yeah, we can fix stuff later and change it if we need to for idiosyncratic moments in the wording, but it should be an imperative on all of us to take the risk to just say it and do it because we're privileged to take that risk right now. And it shouldn't go on much longer. That's all I have to say.
Give us 8 days, Brian.
Yeah, 8 days is, I would really enjoy having 8 days for a lot of very important stuff that I have to decide on a regular basis. That's a lot bigger than 1 page. So the fact that we're talking about people's lives in a predominantly white middle-class area, where the least we could do is put out something like this in support of not only Black bodies, but LGBTQ+, anything. It's the least we could do with the privilege and the ease of life that we all have here is to just do that and not get caught up on some kind of bureaucratic problem with it. And that's all I have to say. Sorry, I don't normally come to these numbers here because this is important to me, and so that probably doesn't totally resonate with everybody. I'm just this guy talking about stuff, but thank you for letting me talk, and thanks for the work that you do, Gary and everyone else.
Thank you. All right, anybody else?
So yeah, I'd like to speak.
Yep, Andrew.
So the BLM movement is Black Lives Matter, not Black Lives. So I would urge you to fix that part of the resolution.
Andrew, we did.
It's titled BLM.
Andrew, we did fix it, as I mentioned. It is not the Black Lives Matter resolution. That was intentional. You there?
I would appreciate not being censored again. Please stop muting me. I believe I have the time that I can speak.
You do, but
Don't mute anyone else.
Speak.
And it's my
accurately.
floor to speak right now, so
Speak
please
accurately.
stop censoring me.
Speak accurately and it won't. Go ahead.
So I do applaud the leadership of some of the board members for the BLM resolution and pushing it. The resolution, however, rings hollow, since from my experience, there have been actions by the mayor and the code enforcement officer that are the exact opposite. I've been provided too much lip service, false promises, stonewalling, and lies. The conscious and unconscious bias of white privilege is real, and the village does not act accordingly to address this. Having a resolution is too easy for the village to praise itself for doing the right things, especially trying to ram it through and just sign it off. These are words without teeth. The village government must really act upon these things. The mayor has censored me at the board meetings, and I've been marginalized too many times by the mayor and the code enforcement officer. They remind me that they can get away with it. The board is nearly silent when I raise these issues. Where is the moral courage to speak up? At this point, I no longer trust the village government to do the right things based on my experience over the last 2 years. Silence is complicity. So I've listed out my issues in a recent letter, which I appreciate you submit you adding to meeting minutes. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Andrew. Anyone else? Mr. Rigney.
I was wondering if you had a chance to talk to Lori about placement of the pavilion. I forgot about that.
Yes, I did, and she had mentioned possibly a concrete slab. So I was talking to Johnny this morning about the possibility of a concrete slab by the two existing sheds.
Okay.
So he's going to scope it out, take a look, scope it out, try to figure out what that would cost.
Okay, very good.
So is that over near the ones that are the oldest ones that need to be torn down?
No, no.
Oh, okay.
No. By the two that,
The blue ones?
yes, that have electricity already running through there. No, oh yes, and we're also getting estimates for tearing down the blockhouse and the old dilapidated pavilion.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah. Alrighty, so we'll close the public hearing, public comment hearing, and move to the village attorney. Do you have any comments? No? There you go.
I do not.
Okay. Village mayor, no. And village trustee, Paul? No. Tom? No. Heidi?
No.
Matt?
Nothing for me.
Alrighty. And I'll entertain a motion to enter executive session to discuss it is the fire department, but there's wording I can't remember at the moment. Employment of a particular person. We have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Yes.
Yes. All right, we will be entering executive session, so sign off now. Thank you very much, and see you probably the 23rd. Check your emails.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.